Here's what we're watching today. The NFL is already holding some of the richest sports contracts in history. Over $100 billion in TV and media rights deals that were only signed back in 2021. These deals with ESPN, Fox, NBC, CBS, and Amazon were supposed to carry the league well into the next decade. But now, Commissioner Roger Goodell says the league wants to reopen negotiations as early as 2026, years ahead of schedule. So why the rush? Why shake up agreements that are already locked in? That's the big question. On the surface, the answer looks simple. Money. The NFL believes it's leaving money on the table. Since those contracts were signed, the value of live sports has only skyrocketed. Ratings for most TV content have been sliding, but NFL games, they're still dominating week after week. Even regular season matchups pull in numbers that scripted shows, award shows, even most news events just can't touch anymore. Live football is basically the last thing keeping traditional TV afloat. And it's not just television. Streaming has exploded in the past few years. Platforms like Amazon Prime have proven that live sports can bring in subscriptions. And now other giants, Netflix, YouTube, Apple, they're circling. For the NFL, this feels like the perfect moment to strike. The league wants to leverage the competition and drive up the price while demand is peaking. But is that just smart business? Or is it a money grab? That depends on how you look at it. From a business standpoint, the NFL is doing what any company would do. They see the market value of their product rising. They see new bidders entering the space, and they don't want to be locked into what could suddenly look like a discount deal. Owners are saying, if we're worth more today, why should we wait another 5 or 6 years to cash in? But there's another side to this. Fans see rising subscription prices every time these deals go up. Networks and streamers don't just eat the cost, they pass it along. That means higher cable bills, pricier streaming packages, and sometimes more fragmentation, with certain games locked behind one platform and others behind another. So while the NFL cashes in, it's the fans who ultimately pay. And here's the irony. When it comes to players, the NFL isn't nearly as flexible. If a star quarterback or wide receiver wants to renegotiate mid-contract because their market value has gone up, most teams, and the league as a whole, say no. Players are told, you signed the deal, honor it. Owners will sit on those contracts until the ink runs dry. But when it comes to the league's own deals, suddenly renegotiating early is fair game. That's why some people see this as pure corporate greed, a double standard, where owners and executives change the rules when it benefits them, but hold players to a different standard. Now, let's talk timing. Why now? First, the media industry is in flux. Cable is shrinking fast. Streaming companies are under pressure from Wall Street to prove they can grow and make money. That means they're desperate for reliable content that brings subscribers in and keeps them paying. And nothing does that better than the NFL. If you're Netflix or YouTube, getting live NFL games isn't just about sports. It's about survival in the streaming wars. Second, the NFL knows that live sports have become the crown jewel of media. There's almost no other programming that advertisers will pay top dollar for anymore. Sports cut through the clutter. They're watched live, not recorded. They bring entire households together. They trend on social media in real time. In other words, football is the one thing TV and streaming companies can't afford to lose. So is it greed or is it competition? Honestly, it's both. The NFL is seizing the moment because competition among media giants is fierce, and the league knows its leverage has never been stronger. But it's also about padding revenue, even when the league is already swimming in record profits. And let's not forget, this isn't just about the NFL. If the league successfully accelerates its renegotiations, it sets a precedent for every other sport. The NBA is already gearing up for a massive rights renewal. Baseball and hockey are watching closely. If the NFL moves first and gets bigger numbers, it raises the bar for everyone else. The ripple effects could reshape sports media for the next decade. Networks will have to pay more, Streamers will dive deeper into sports. And fans, they'll be caught in the middle, deciding how many subscriptions they can actually afford just to follow their teams. So what we're watching here is more than just a contract renegotiation. It's the clash between corporate power, market competition, and fan loyalty. On one hand, you can call it greed, billionaires and billion-dollar companies wanting even more. On the other hand, it's the natural evolution of competition in a changing media landscape. The only certainty is this: the NFL is playing offense, not defense. They want to lock in more money, sooner. And in the end, whether you call it greed or good business, fans will be the ones paying the price.